Hey guys, so this is a video on making the schedule. First you want to open the hub. Over in the hub, you're gonna see a little tic-tac-toe box. You want to drop that down to the calendar menu, down to the schedule. Schedule's gonna pop up. You just want to drop down to the week that over in the side tab. Drop it over to the week that needs to be worked on, which is usually every 3 weeks. So currently we're on Sunday, so this is first week, second week, and third week needs to be pushed out. You would just click that week then, and then move on to setting up the schedule. Schedule wise, you're gonna see here we're given a couple of things you want to look for is demand. Every week changes. Currently this week we're at 389. Demand plus changes also every week as well. Demand plus currently for this week is 22, as you can see here. So what you want to do now is over in this side tab, we're gonna filter to RX only because there's a front store and pharmacy here currently. So you want to do apply, and then a lot of times it still has all the front store people's names, so then you want to just drop down to filter settings, and then what I usually do is just select all, and I start just clicking out people from front stores. So it take a minute to just freaking go through every single person. All right, great. Once that happens, you click through and took out everyone that's not from front store in your list. You just probably have to do it a couple of times just to make sure that everyone's there that's supposed to be, and also there's still few people here that not usually on the schedule, so then you just need to click their names out so they don't pop up on even Steve. So then you want to click that out and just make sure everyone's everyone's name that's on here is supposed to be on the pharmacy schedule. And then from here on, you go ahead and on that bottom tab here, you're gonna see a little drop box. We can just pull that up. When you pull that up, you're gonna see these I guess blocks. You're gonna see the brown boxes mean that we're scheduled accordingly to how many people that the computer thinks that we should have, and then currently who we have currently working, the amount of people we have currently working. So you can see here that we're scheduled for demand is needs 3 people, and we're currently scheduling 3, so that's good. Any time blocks that with the extra yellow indentation means that technically we should have 1 more person during these this specific time slot. So 9:30 over to 10:45. Same thing with Mondays, and move on and so forth. So usually these small time blocks you can't really schedule someone at for an hour or so. So you kind of just have to work with the best schedule you can make to kind of adjust for that. Same thing over in these certain time blocks. You can try to schedule someone accordingly to fit these blocks, but sometimes you may or may not based on person's availability. So you kind of just work with who you have on the roster, their availability, and go from there to make the best schedule you can for the store. Certain blocks like these means that we do need and really need an extra person then. So this makes it a little easier, that we know that someone's going to be here from 10:15 to 6 or so. We'll need someone, definitely a whole shift there. And likewise, Friday and Saturday. So you just usually just go through, and then now we're gonna start by Sunday. You just go down the list and just work on that. So for example, here we have our usual person, Carrie, requested off. So then we have someone else who's working that shift. So currently it has Miriam at 4 to 10. As you can see, we also have Liba 4 to 9. Right now, it's essentially saying that there's from this 4 to 5 time frame, we're overstaffed by one extra person. Then technically, if you were to fully best make the schedule, you do want to take out that person. Obviously, we are under demand. We are shorthanded, so we can adjust and make the schedule accordingly. It doesn't have to be a perfect fit with these blocks and these time windows, as long as you stay under the requested hours for the week. That's usually fine. So even if you're these blocks don't fit, or you don't make it to the perfect where it's fully optimized, that's okay for now. When you look, they talk about optimization, pharmacy optimization. That's essentially just whether or not the pharmacy is filling out these blocks properly. So if you were to you want to get 100% in optimization, you would need to pretty much just have no overage and no underage, I guess, if you will. So everything should be exactly following these brown bricks. Obviously, that's not a perfect world, so it's not going to happen. Pharmacy is okay. They're okay with around 80% fully optimization. So here on, then you just kind of just make the schedule accordingly based on mostly everyone's availability, their shift, and stuff like that. So a couple of things you want to consider is Caesar and Uzma. They do have their rotating Sundays 3-day weekend. So with that, I usually just check the previous week just to make sure that who was working that Sunday. So right now it was Caesar working that Sunday. So this week then I'm gonna go ahead and adjust. So already Uzma is pre-populated. I already set up so that they did have that usual rotating on the system. So the system should kick that in, but if not, just want to make sure you keep that in mind. So again, going back to Sunday, and this is where you also want to consider who's working and who will be the best fit for the schedule. So kind of have to know your people, know their skills, their strengths and weaknesses, and kind of just pair them up with your other person. So for example, Sunday's a little bit busier with just one pharmacist. So usually we have Uzma currently on 8 to 4. You also have currently a schedule is putting Haley 8 to 4 as well, which can work. I can also consider switching it as well. And then also, who's available as well. So you can see here, all these green blocks are open availability for that specific time window. You also have these yellow blocks. These are just persons not available. Likewise, so you can see here, Liba fully open from Sunday 8 to 10. And then you just go down the list and essentially, who's available, you will just key them in And you also have to factor in person's hours, and their requested hours, and whether or not it fits their schedule as well. So right now, we have Miriam, and Sundays are typically a little harder to staff, so you just have to keep that in mind as well. So currently then, my thinking would be to, I would put Haley 8 to 4 along with Uzma. Or you can put your stronger technician, more experience, so then you can put Liba with Uzma 8 to 4. And then evening would be, you currently has Miriam at 4 to 10, and then also Liba 4 to 9. So depending on whatnot, maybe I would rather have Liba close, so then I would drag Liba shift out to 10. And then I might cut back, and you see that now we have a blue overage, as in we overstaff one extra person. So then I would, if I deem necessary, I would drop Miriam back to 4 to 9 then. So then we'll be back at a good optimization or whatnot. Sunday looks currently pretty good so far. You can come back and revisit it if necessary. We're going to go on to Monday then. Monday seems like it's a 10 to 6 schedule. Here I have Zach for some reason coming up. I guess he requested his allocated his leave. So I'm just going to remove all his time slots, and you can see here on the top our pharmacy schedule is going to slowly drop under even more because of so you can see here currently, based on the computer generated schedule, we're at 250 hours. Demand is 389, so we have a lot of hours that we need to cover, a lot of shifts to cover and stuff like that. So here I'm just going to start adjusting for Monday then. Monday, you also have to consider, again, these are holidays, and just figure out who's available, who's able to work and whatnot. And then you would, again, on the bottom corner here, pull that up. Let's make sure all the shifts are covered. So our hours are going to be 10 to 6. So then I would just probably, Uzma will do 10 to 6. I'm going to cut Caesar's shift here, 4 to 9:30, because we're not going to be open. And again, that's what we have right now. Tam, currently 10 to 4 based on availability. I would pull it 10 to 6 as well, or I might have that to be worked on with Caesar 10 to 6. Again, this is where you probably would need to check with the staff to best determine who can work these shifts and go from there. Same thing, I currently have Haley 1 to 6. I might also factor that in and adjust it, so then I might have Tam do 1 to 6. Or you can drag her shift to a longer time as well. You just have to be aware that they can actually do the shift if it's a holiday or whatnot. That's what you have to figure that out with the team member. So right now for that looks like Labor Day 10 to 6. We have Tam 10 to 6, Caesar 10 to 6, Uzma 10 to 6. We have Tara 10 to 6. So right now it looks like pretty good based on these block windows. They do technically want one more person from 10 to 12:45, or even to 2. You can try to fit someone in. I'm not sure, based on all these blocks. No one's usually available here on Mondays. So then you probably would go ahead and start asking who can actually work this holiday shift. But for now, we'll leave it here. Move on to Tuesday. Tuesday, you can see here, demand 72 hours. I'm assuming this factors in the increase in pharmacist hours, so pharmacist hours probably will be adjusted, or there'll be extra pharmacists, so you guys will probably have to figure that out. Currently, and this is the day after Labor Day, so it's pharmacy system can schedule things that we're probably going to be busier, so therefore they want more people to work. So tricky thing is sometimes you don't have people to work, so you have to factor that in as well. So usually then I just max out everyone's availability based on their given availability. So for example, I'm going to start top down. Miriam, I'm going to max that shift out to 8. Caesar, obviously, he'll be 2 to 10. And then to adjust people's shift, you would have to click the end of the shift and just drag it. That's why you can't do it in the store with these things, because it takes forever to even just to drag these shifts out. Caesar's good. Zach, unfortunately, requested LOA, so he's not available. So then we'll move on to Tam. Tam, 9:30 is when she's available to start, so 9:30 to 3. Again, Uzma 8 to 4, that's standard. Amy, that's locked, so you don't have to adjust pharmacist schedule. Pharmacist schedules are locked already. Haley, again, we're gonna max that out to 4 to 10. She did only want 20 hours moving forward, so that's something you guys will have to factor that in as well. Currently for Haley, she's at 26, and again, we're just only to Tuesday, so we'll need to start adjusting for that. So right now, yeah, that's who we have currently, what we have going on. So based on the current people on the roster and not factoring in people who are coming into the system, this is who we got currently able to work these shifts. So you can see here, system still wants 2 to 3 more people to fill these blocks. So we're gonna revisit this and fit in people who are coming through the system. So then let's move on to next day, Wednesday. Again, just go down the list, drag out people's shift who have their standard shifts. So Caesar 2 to 10, Tam, we're gonna max that out 9:30 to 2, Uzma again, Haley 1:30 to 8. So you also have to factor in their working hours too. Currently their shift is 8.5 hours, so you just have to factor that in. So be aware the person can actually work a 9-hour shift, or they rather do shorter shifts or whatnot, and that's something that you can either check with them or they'll let you know. For now, I'll probably maybe start considering dropping her hours down, just because she did only want 20 hours, so I don't want to max her out on every single day. Other than that, you can see here our availability is pretty much set for these guys. Miriam is available. You can see here she does have some time blocks, so we can also fit her in as well. I'll probably fit her in. The way you would do to fit people in, you can just click on the time slot, and then you should probably put in the time. So 1p check mark. And then just drag that window down back to 6, or whatever their full max availability is. So currently it's 1 to 6:30 is what her availability was set to, or she's able to do. So we're gonna do that. And then you move to so far based on these people that we have here. Let's save that. I'm gonna try and then to just go back to the allocation window with the optimization. Again, just drag that back up. Again, seems like the company or system schedule does want a lot of people here. So again, we'll have to figure that out based on people that we're bringing in as well. Move on to the next day. Next day, we got this. So we're gonna start moving Caesar shift. I don't know why they keep adjusting his shift lower, but 8:30 to 4, 8, I'm sorry, 8 to 4. Again, we're gonna go ahead and max Tam out. You'll probably have to be adjusted as well. A lot of these guys are in college. They probably can't work the full 27 or whatever amount of hours. So we'll have to factor that in and start adjusting it once we come back to it. Anju doesn't close, or she only can work to 9, so we'll have to factor that in as well. Tara closing, Amy mid shift, Haley 4 to 9, Jane, you're 8 to 8. So right now it looks like we do need a closer, so I'm gonna pull Haley's shift, and you can see here I'm gonna pull. And the reason why I knew that there was a need a closer because demands for 2 people. One person's already the pharmacist, so we need one more person to close. So drag out Haley's shift, 4 to 10. So far, based on people we have on shift, that's what we got, or what we can fill up. And again, we'll revisit this. You have to revisit this afterwards. And once our hires come in, you can start filling in their availability. Then it should make it a little easier to start filling out these shifts. Next person, next day. Sorry, this is Friday. Miriam locked on her previous usual shift of 2 to 7. You can see here Friday nights doesn't seem to ask too many people, so I would probably consider leaving her there at 2 to 7 is fine for me. Miriam 2:30 to 7:30. I may or may not need her there, so I might just either close up the shift, or even just remove her all completely and have someone else work the shift. So we'll have to adjust from there. And you can see as I start closing her shift, that blue little tab on the bottom starts to close up. So technically they just want her shift from 2:30 to 5:45, and that's perfect for the computer. They still want a closer though, so I'm gonna just drag out Tam shift to 4 to 10. And we have looks like Charles working closing. Couple of things you have to factor in as well. Who's your stronger technician, able to handle. So you kind of have to pair up, so and so with who in order to best work the schedule. Friday is pretty lacking in people, so that's one thing that we're gonna need to work on is the new hires that I did hire. They should have better availability on Fridays, so that should help fill out some of these shifts. What I would probably start asking Jessica as well for assistance in covering some of these shifts as well. Seems like right now for Friday, they pretty much just need someone or a good amount of people from 8 to 5 or 5 to 6 essentially. So we can get a grad intern, which I think she was working on last time I spoke with her a day or two ago. Hopefully the grad intern stays for a few weeks. If not, again, our new hires should be coming in a week or two, so that we should be able to fill these shifts out. Again, we'll revisit this then after I do finish out the current people that we have. So right now it looks okay so far. We'll move on to Saturday then. Saturday, you can see here, again, pharmacists. I'm going to start keying in people now. So Mahima usually works Saturday weekends, so I'm going to put her in. So you can see here, typing in her first box is going to be opening, and then last box will be closing. Doesn't matter if you fill out the last box or not. Again, you can drag it, and sometimes you misclick, and you can just type it back in. So 8 a.m. check 8 a.m. and then just click the second box and just do whatever time frame you want them to close, and then you can just adjust it. Just make sure that these shifts are going to be technician shifts. A lot of times you don't have to change it; it's already pre-filled. Just keep that in mind and then save it. Once you do that, just pull that back up again. So still need more people, so I usually have Liba closed, so I'm just gonna put her in the arbitrary 2 o'clock and then I'll just drag her to closing. And this is where you also have to factor in who's your closer, who's your opener, and who we can fit in between and stuff like that. So just something to be aware of. Right now, this red dot means that Tam requested 9 to 4 off. And this is where I would think about, okay, then do I need it? Then do I want to fill her in the rest of the day? And that's something to consider. Saturdays are pretty routine where it's going to be Mahima and Miriam going to be carrying the pharmacy on Saturdays. So I usually always have them on unless they requested it off or whatever. So Miriam's schedule is pretty set for 8 to 4 as well. And then here you'll see me again. It popped up with technician, lunch, technician, daily activity. I just want to change daily activities back to technician and then save it. Close that out. Pop that back up, and then again, just make sure look at my allocation and see what's going on. So far, still need more people. So I'm probably gonna have Miriam close with Liba. So I'm gonna put her as 4P and 4P base because you can see here it's 4 o'clock. They need one more person to like 8. So I'm gonna do 4 to 8P. Check. Again, make sure that's technician. Oops. Save. Close. Pop that back up. And once again, you see that that's good. They just want to drag that to there. And again, you don't have to exactly follow this exact box. You can, if you rather have someone close, depending on, who the pharmacist is, or you might need extra help in the mornings, or you think that you might need extra help in the evenings, you can drag that a little longer as well. It doesn't have to be that person's shift at 8:30 doesn't have to exactly end at 8:30. You can have some overage if you want. You just have to factor that in terms of our hours allocated, that you may or may not have that full flexibility. For now, I think that's pretty good. Libra's pretty strong in closing, so her and then pairing up with Miriam, who is also getting stronger, should be able to handle that. Morning, you might want to staff with some extra people, hands on deck. So at this point, this is where I would maybe thinking to putting in maybe one of our new hires along with Mahima and Miriam to run the morning shift. So again, this time window from like 8:30 to 1:30 or so, or 2. I'll think about that once we come back to it. So currently, it did the whole week. It's not a perfect schedule yet. So then this is where you actually would try to fix up the shifts and make sure it's a perfect schedule, or at least the best you can for the week. Once again, to go back into the main menu, you just have to click out into the sidebar, drag it back to whatever week we're working on. Here, you want to drag that, and then again, you have to go through and do the filter. Everyone's name that I checked on already is good, so I'm going to say apply, and there we go. Back to our original schedule. I'm going to start clearing out some of these names as well, access names who have their availability is very tight, and they're ready. If they requested for that week, then there's no use of having their name on there and just gonna cause more confusion, distraction. So for example, Carrie already requested Sunday 9/5 off. She doesn't have any other availability for the rest of the week, so I'm just gonna go back here, this little thingy. I'm gonna uncheck her name, and that's gonna remove her name. So again, I can see who I'm working with. I also left the RX non-retail tech here as well, just to fill out our extra new hires who haven't shown up yet in the schedule. And then you just go from there. So right now, Miriam pretty much filled up. Other Miriam around 23.45. That's filled up. And again, you have to factor in, sometimes you have to factor in how many days a person's working, whether or not they, would rather be off. They don't want to work 6 days in a row, uh, or, have every other day, or then the count. So then you have to factor that in. Right now, obviously, because we are having some availability and staffing issues, then you kind of have to just work with everyone that we have. So they might be working a little bit longer schedule or whatnot. Then that's kind of where we're at. For now, Tam seems to be pretty maxed out, so I might start looking into adjusting her because right now she's at 29 hours. I don't think she wants to work 29 hours. Live again, Sunday or weekend, so she's already working there. It's Haley, 24 hours currently, so that's pretty good. I might start looking into adjusting that a little lower as well. So let me go into Sunday and see if I can close up her shift for a shorter shift. So I'm gonna just drag to 2, and I might drag Liba's shift as she can, work a little longer, or she only works 2 days. I'll have her do an 8-hour shift instead. So in that regards, Haley now dropped to 22 hours. Liba's at 15, so we're looking pretty good for Sunday. Going back, so Haley's looking pretty good, so I don't have to look at her schedule anymore for now. Her week, and then Mahima again, just only Sunday right now. I'm sorry, Saturday for her working day, so that's fine. She requested off on Sunday. We have Charles ready to fit in. So right now, okay, based on the current people we have, that's what we got. Obviously, as I sent out the previous schedule, again, Caesar's working 40 hours, so that's fine. Usman's already at 40 as well, so that's fine. Obviously, I'm assuming Jessica is pretty lax and understand the fact that it is a rougher period right now, so she probably will be okay flexing, if they want to work overtime or whatnot. I'm sure she won't question that for now. As I have kind of, have them work overtime sometimes, and, Jessica hasn't really questioned that so far, as we have been under scheduling and stuff like that. But for now, that's them. Again, Liba. So everyone else right now is pretty much maxed out based on their allocation. NG did requested. So NG's wanted to also work. Currently, I didn't have her put in her availability, as last time she left, she was requesting to be. She said she wasn't going to come back, so I was in the process of terminating her, and then now I had to re-cancel that. So we'll kind of revisit this then in maybe a day or so and see what her availability is, and then I might key that in. For now, we'll leave it that way for now. Next person I'm gonna try to fit in is Valerie, who's currently working on her background check and whatnot. She should be into the system by September 5th, whichever week that we're working on right now. So I'm gonna start probably keying her in her shifts as well, even though she's not fully in the system yet. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna start keying the shifts based on these blocks that I have. So, but also factoring her her availability as well. So with Haley's availability, I think it was, I'll be right back to check on her availability.